Call the meeting to order with the Board of Water Commissioners for January 8th. First item on the agenda we're going to go to is new business number 3. Discuss the request for proposals for billing services. John's been working on that. Yeah. And he has to leave early.
So I've taken the one that we've used the last 2 times. Pardon me. And I've changed the dates. I think we've got enough time here. There's some additional. I'll remember the dates first. So, starting on January 28th, the RFPs, we want to make them available Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4 down in downtown, which is where they've always been. And I've got 9 to 4. I don't know if the town hall offices hours have changed.
So 9 to 4, you had Monday through Wednesday?
Thursday. And
I think
Friday,
that's right.
9 to 12.
Right, I think that's right.
Okay.
I think that's pretty close.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the right hours. And so, and Deb Egan is the procurement officer, so I kept it with her.
Mm-hmm.
So the deadline for submitting questions will be February 12th. So we'll issue it by the 28th, and that gives them 2 weeks and a day to February 12th to get the questions in by 10 o'clock that day. Excuse me. And then return it by February 28th, which I think is a Thursday. The dates are all in here. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. So the RFP will be issued on the 28th at 1 o'clock. The questions will be due February 12th by 10. Proposals due February 28th, and there will be an opening in that whole routine that we do. There's a situation here on Part E of all the attachments. The following forms are attached to this. I didn't have them, Kathy. So
yes.
Under E, the certificate of non-collusion, the payment of the state taxes form, bidder checklist, and price proposal form. Mm-hmm. Can you get those from Debbie?
Yes.
Okay, that's in section E. The rest of it is fairly typical boilerplate. It's kind of continuation of what the kind of services that we have with an outsourced provider, same types of services, billing, collection, customer service, etc. The evaluation criteria is the same we've used. Making changes to that. And then what I did do, the terms and conditions are still the same that they've always been. And I put the term shall be, there's a mistake on page 12. From the start date of April 28th, 2019, it should be, not 2016.
I'm sorry.
So, no, that's why I was double checking all of them, but I just saw that one. So it's page 12, paragraph 2, the term of the agreement. It should say it expires April 28th, 2019. So we want this to have the start date of April 28th, 2019. So that's just correcting the year there. And I added also a last page of a version history, March 2016. This is January 2019. So that 3 years from now, when we do it, we'll have an audit trail of what we've done. We can keep it, and if something significant develops with what we do in the next 3 years, specifically with the goings on with Georgetown, if anything develops there, we can. The next time we do something, we may want to have some kind of amendment. I don't know. Or that can be an addendum if we ever decide something has to happen.
Yeah, Georgetown's a long ways down the road.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 3, so we'll at least.
I've been talking to Debbie about it.
Okay, so I just want to make sure. So I guess I'll make a motion that we.
Can I just ask?
Oh,
sorry, I don't want to delay you.
No.
Under the weather. And one of the issues that we wanted to make sure was that whoever wins the bid is going to be willing to refine and optimize the design of the bills.
Well, I know that our current vendor said they'll do that.
Right, but
they were waiting on us.
But it's not in the. Is it in the Is it in the proposal?
Well, if it's a new contractor, they'll be designing a bill. Correct?
They'll have to give us what they have and have us approve it. Mm-hmm. If it's a new contractor, and if it's our current one, they've already agreed to make that change.
Okay, right, so people are comfortable that we're covered by that.
Mm-hmm.
The other is simply the porting of whatever data, the packaging up of whatever data they've got. If we have to switch vendors in the future, that we kind of get all that data in
I
there.
believe that's in there.
That's in there. That's a
I
90,
read
I
that
think
in
it's
there.
90 days, as I believe.
Yeah,
If
prior
it
to
has
the
change.
end of the contract.
All right, so that's covered. All right.
Yeah, I did read it.
So the only other thing is on page 1, there's a typo in the third paragraph down. It says staring on January 28th as opposed to starting on January 28th.
Where was that, Bernie?
In the third paragraph on the first page,
Spell check didn't get that because that's not a bad word.
Mm-hmm.
it says staring instead of starting.
Did you see that, Kath?
Yes.
So you motion to make it with the corrections?
Yes, with the two.
I'll make a motion to,
Just looking for a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I think with reading this, it refers to the water superintendent, which we obviously don't have as part of the reviewing committee. So I think that one of the three of us, somebody that has time, should be reviewed part of that committee as opposed to, we don't have to vote it now, but
Yeah, I mean, you're in town, Mark, you've got a lot of licenses. I mean, I'd be fine if you wanted to. If not, I can try to make
unless
myself
Bernie wants to do it.
No, I have my hands.
Or I can try to make myself available, work from home a couple of days, if depends on your schedule too.
All right, we'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll get a couple months.
I just thought I'd throw that out because that's what I read in it, the thing, and we need a representation on it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So it can't be all three of us.
Yeah.
Can't be more than two of us. Can't be
More than one of us.
Yeah.
All right, we're all set with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to depart. Just, I actually don't want to be near you guys, actually.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to, say in case you have a different strain, I don't want
Yeah, exactly. Apologies again. Good night, guys.
to. All right, good night.
Thanks, John.
Oops.
Thank you, John.
I won't hit that.
Don't triple.
Next thing is a flooding issue at 385 Weathersfield Street. You're on. Just state your name and your address and
My name is Vincent Pugliaris. I live at 385 Weathersfield Street. I've been there since 1987, and my concern is that there's flooding on both sides of the street, which I've never seen before since I've been there for 30 years, and it's progressively getting worse. And that's why I'm before you, board, to see if we can resolve it. I don't know if they're going to test the waters and get to it that way, or possibly turn it over to the highway department and divert the water. Whatever the situation is, it's pretty dangerous. People could just be getting their meal and on a dry day not knowing that there's ice in the middle of the street. And like I showed the chairman, I have pictures of both sides of the street being flooded and pavement coming up. And everybody says it's a natural spring of some sort. In my eyes, it's hard to believe, but I'm no water expert, and that's why I'm here.
I know there is one in the area. Whether it's totally that's the whole thing, I can't say. I don't have an X-ray vision. to look
Sure,
onto the
absolutely.
ground.
That's why we're here, and see if we can resolve the issue.
If it's a water leak, there should be some way of narrowing down where the water's coming up.
Right, well, so I'm going to leave it up to the board to kind of make the decision. We have been trying to investigate a potential leak in that area for quite a few years now. We've called two different contractors for professional leak detection in the area. Both instances, they found nothing. We have also tested the water coming out of the ground for any
No chlorine.
any chemicals that we would use in our treatment process that you wouldn't find in groundwater. And we have found nothing. However, water does still continuously come out of the grounds on the road, and it is a safety hazard. So we wanted to bring it to the board and figure out what you guys would like to do next. Do you want further investigation done on the matter? If we do further investigation, how how are we going to, are we then going to officially push it off to maybe the highway department to have, or the town itself to have them add, you know, have them deal with it, maybe add like a stormwater drain or something?
Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have Mr. Sapa come and check the whole area thoroughly again. I don't know what you think about that. But
No, it certainly wouldn't hurt. We've done it a few times.
I'd feel better if...
So he's the contract leak detection person who has the appropriate equipment to determine by sound whether there's a leak, because you'll basically hear it coming out of the pipe.
Well, that's why we're here, to see if we can resolve the issue.
I would feel more comfortable making any more decisions, because I can't see starting to dig the road up and...
No, that's not the way to determine a leak, and you most likely just break the pipe doing that. Then there would be a leak.
And that's a delicate area right through there. I mean, it's a lot of clay. That's also the old system and the new system coming together somewhere there.
I'm more than willing to hire a contractor to have it checked out, but it's to the point where it should be the last time it's done. If it's really not the water infrastructure, this really needs to be pushed to another town department that could fix the issue for good.
I'd like to, when it happens, is you to get together with Pat and see if he can be there to witness it, so he can, they can talk it out between the highway surveyor and the leak detection guy.
Right.
If that's possible.
Yeah,
let's work together on this, and
you can be around. But again, I just want to continuously keep calling in leak detection and keep coming up negative, but then we're still in the same spot we were.
I know there's other spots in town that are very similar.
Yeah, right.
The other side of Weathersfield Street, coming down to Route 1 on the opposite side of the main, leaks all the time.
Yep.
Has since
Mansion Drive.
Mansion Drive. Same thing all the time. Just water coming out of the ground.
So, from what you said earlier, we've got a number of meter pits in that same area.
Yes,
that have water.
About a quarter mile down the road, there's the road kind of wraps around and goes over a bridge.
Yeah.
That's where there's several houses over there that have meter pits out front. Yes.
So, are there any more proximate to where the 385?
They're probably about 200 yards down the road. You have to go down the road and take the corner and cross a bridge to get to it.
Right. So, but those meter pits are inundated with water.
Yes, they're always submerged in water.
Okay.
Kind of no matter what time of the year it is.
So it seems to me as though we cover both ends, and we sample water that's right where it's bubbling, it's coming out of the ground at 385, and we take water samples in those meter pits. And if that's all kind of raw water, no treatment, then and then you can't hear anything. I mean, you basically locked it in as this is a natural spring, this is groundwater, water level. If there's if that water in the meter pits is treated, then that suggests that there's some kind of leakage.
Right, but even that's further down the road too. So I'll test it anyways, but that might be a separate issue.
Now, you have the equipment to test that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I would use the lab and the treatment plant to test for all of our.
So it's not costing us for bio.
No, what would cost us would be the leak detection, which I am fine with hiring if that's what the board decides.
Isn't that expensive?
No. But again, I would also like to that if this is proven again that it's not the water infrastructure that's leaking, this really needs to be handed off to to the town. And
so I think that's where Mark's point about getting Patrick to observe,
because he's the one that's I know from he's told me that he's telling you that it's the water leak. He doesn't believe it's groundwater.
And if I can interrupt, you checked one time to see if my meter was leaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that came out negative, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right, because we were down there not only checking for this leak, but also you had a dirty water complaint a couple of years back.
Right.
Which was actually a dirty water that infected the whole, pretty much half the town.
I would say it comes right, if you were to, the spot that you would dig at would be right where that telephone pole is.
Yep.
It's because it seems to surround that pole. They did put a new pole in there, and like you say, they might have disturbed the clay and maybe sifted it to a different direction when they did that. I don't know. But
Well, the water table in that area, because I went out today to take a look, and the water table is pretty high,
Yeah.
and the way if you look at the topographical features coming off the hills on the south side of Wethersfield Street, and then you can see the swale that goes down to the ponding area that's way out the back.
Right,
So it
and
looks like there's a
that's-
natural feature that kind of carries the water down.
it does. It comes off that hill, and there's a swale that just wraps around. It goes under my driveway into a little cat-nine-tail pond, and then into the Mill River from the back there.
So
But now that water that we're talking about is actually coming from that leak and going, like I said, there's 125 feet of frontage to each home. It's going 3 homes, which is 375 feet, down Collins' driveway and into that swale again.
well,
That's how far the water's traveling.
You may be right. I mean, when they put the poles in, I mean, they have a big.
Well,
it's like digging a well,
yeah.
and they may have basically gone through the impermeable, the clay,
Sure.
and kind of fractured that,
Could be.
and kind of now you've got a well, whether you
Right.
like it or not.
It's certainly a safety hazard, though. We definitely see that. But if it is coming from our infrastructure, then
We need to fix it.
We're definitely going to fix it.
So the state monitors. I mean, we know the numbers of how much water we produce. We know how much water we kind of basically sell on, and the state monitors the difference between those two things. And that's basically their design. We're constrained in the amount of water we can lose through leakage. So we have a
Right, it's in both of our best interest, sure.
to find it. But we haven't been able to find it. So again, we take another crack. But I think Mark's point is really on target, is to get Patrick on board, because if it's not our problem, it's his problem.
Sure.
And so we need to come.
I mean, has that drainage ditch really filled in? I haven't really looked at it on the other side of the street.
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, I really haven't looked at it, but it's always a little swampy there, anyways, on the Girl Scout side. But it has. I've never seen it trickle from one side of the road to the other, like I showed you in the video that I took. And if anybody wants me to,
I have noticed that around some of the places that feed into the Mill River and stuff, that there's a big backup. Is there a beaver dam around?
No, there was a few years back.
Because I noticed, like, if you go on Havel Street, right by the institution, that's filled way up.
Well, we've had a lot of rain too. We've had a lot of rain. I mean,
that's what I use for a measurement of how much water there is around, and it's really full.
but I think we've had the wettest September and October.
Yep.
And November even was, pretty rainy. But I guess one step at a time, right?
Yeah. So
See if we got a leak. We don't have a leak. Maybe we could fix it a different way.
I'd like to see Patrick join us, join you, and down there, and discuss it.
But yeah, if that's what the board decides, you guys definitely just want me to get the leak detection guy out there at least one more time.
Yeah, I'll make that a
Do
motion.
some more quality tests, and that's what we'll do.
If you'd like to second it, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Motion.
To hire a leak detection for that area?
And conduct the additional, and redo the tests. So I will second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So, we're doing what we can do.
Yeah, it's all you can do, right? I mean, like you were saying, it's kind of a danger zone too, because people are going around that leak, and as they go around that leak, there's that little blind corner.
No, I was out there, I was parking my car out there. It was quite,
And not to mention, if, sometimes you stop in front of your mailbox to get your mail,
right.
and the person in back isn't really, anticipating that there's gonna be ice on the road because it's a dry day. And,
Fair enough, okay.
Alright.
well, thanks for your time, guys.
Okay.
And,
Oh, thank you.
Now, hopefully it'll get figured out. I have my doubts that it's a water leak, but
well,
I've been proven wrong
we'll
before.
check it out. I mean, who knows, If it is a leak, then like you were saying, maybe we can divert it somehow so that we can all stay safe and maybe even mow the lawn in the summertime.
Yeah, really. Well, thanks for coming in. Come back anytime.
All right, thanks again, guys.
See, we don't bite, so.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Would you mind signing this?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Number 2 is discuss abatement application for 910 Vito Court. Haven't we had this before?
Sounds familiar.
We've become phone buddies, so
Phone
you
buddies.
have more than one of my numbers.
Exactly, you don't need to put your phone number down. That's fine, that's fine.
Put my own interest in this, that's the best way. All right, have a
All right,
nice night.
thank you,
Nice
you
to see you
too.
guys, and
You too.
stay dry.
Yeah. Okay, take care.
Good night.
Good. Kathy,
Yes.
the 9 and the 11 Vito Court,
Yes,
didn't this come up before?
it did,
And we didn't do anything because,
they hadn't figured out what was causing the leak, so we rejected the abatement because no one knew where the leak came from.
okay.
Now we do. It was a water heater in one of the units. Number 9 is an elderly woman who shares the meter, the bill with her number 11 neighbors. And they finally figured out that the number 11 neighbors' water heater was leaking, and that's why the bill is so high. So they're asking for an abatement and hopefully to give it to the woman who it wasn't on her property.
It seems like a genuine.
Right, she just wrote a little letter today, so I just included it so she could get her.
Am I missing something? I don't see an abatement form from Pennachuck.
You don't see a calculation?
Yeah. Am I missing
This
it?
one?
I don't have that one.
He hasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, so 600 something.
He's got mine. He has it.
Okay.
I don't get the average consumption on here. It's got bill usage, which is 54,000 gallons.
Mhm.
And then it says average consumption, 1,800.
Is that between the two, or are we looking at?
Well, I'm looking at the top of the form, and that doesn't make sense. The average, I mean, we're talking about. Because the average
10 to-
consumption, just looking at over the last year, is closer to 5,000 gallons for a month.
Are you looking at the 10-2-17 usage?
No, I'm looking at the top line, 1101, that's where it's working it out.
Okay.
So it says The current reading is 33,330,092. Bill usage is 54,451. The average consumption is 1815. That doesn't seem right. So I don't have any problem with this amount. I just don't like the fact that the numbers don't make sense.
Barney, I'm sorry, where do you see the 1815?
It's up in the top line, it says average consumption. Followed across from 11/1/2017.
Okay.
So that number should be 48 or 5,000, because you can just eyeball the previous 12 months
Yeah.
of bill usage, and it averages out around 5,000.
So what we have to question, what I have to question, Penachuk, is the 181503.
Yeah, where that number comes from.
So they're saying that the leak started back in 2016. That's where I'm seeing the rate raised to 6,000, 4,400. Before that, you had an average of 17, 1,100, 15. So I think that's where they're getting that from, Bernie.
Oh, so they're going back 2 years.
Because that's how long this has been going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it doesn't make enough sufficient difference to make a big deal out of it. But that's I can hardly believe the leak was lasting 2 years. The usage pattern had really shifted back in May of 2016, but that could have been.
So it has, since they fixed this, has the usage gone back down to?
Yes. Well, I don't know what the usage is at the moment, but
Good question.
they're satisfied with,
Good deal.
as soon as they fixed their water heater, their usage went back to normal.
Mhm.
So this woman's question is, part of her question is, if you grant them the abatement, can that go to her side of the credit? Or
That's not our business.
Right,
We
it's up to their
we build a
management.
condo association,
Yeah, okay.
and that's as far as it goes for us.
Yeah, it would be up to them.
Then
Yeah.
what they do with it is
Yeah.
them.
Well, I did tell them that. I just want to know if, yeah.
That's their.
can't make
I'm not even going to get into the
Yeah.
legalities of that. And
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to accept the request for the abatement. It's the amount of $608.51.
I'll second it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. New business number 4. Discuss policy.
Non-compliance.
Establish a uniform administrative procedure to address the issue of customer non-compliance when the meter cannot be read, access has been ignored or denied.
That's been a problem, so we had to write something.
Did you get this policy from Penachuk or?
Combination of Penachuk and our old partially written policy. I sent it to you guys about a month ago. I just need some guidance.
So the issue here is that we can't, one of the reasons why we wouldn't be reading, we can't get in to read the meter,
No access.
no access, but we're interested in reading the meter because it's not read.
Exactly. So it's always.
It needs to be repaired. So they're getting free water, basically.
So
Exactly.
this looks like it's 4 months of free water.
Yes.
So that seems to be too much from my perspective. It seems to me as though you send one card. I'm open for discussing it, but why not one card and then no response? Then they get a non-compliance letter. So that reduces the amount.
Now, are they actually sending like a postcard?
Yes, yes. And then we have, I guess there are several.
I would rather see the notice go by first-class mail in an envelope, because postcards get lost really fast.
Okay.
Or even not thrown away.
Yes.
So it's all certified?
Not certified, no. But a notice to go in a regular envelope, a letter, not a card.
Yeah, with a flag on whatever that needs attention, something to make sure that somebody opens it.
Because I think, I know, I get cards in the mail, they get thrown on the table. Usually figure that there's something that somebody's trying to sell you something.
Right.
So I think it should be class, the regular first-class mail in an envelope.
But we only need to do it once. I mean, we send them the bill and we expect them to pay the bill. I mean, I don't see any reason why it would be 3 times.
So do you want to make it a one-time notice, and then the second notice would be for shut-off?
Yes,
Okay.
because that changes it from, because we've already have noticed it. We will notice it originally, that's at least one billing
Right.
cycle. And now we've got 3 more billing cycles. I mean, they've got half a year's water before. So I think it's just one. I can't think of any reason why not.
Right.
Especially,
How does Pennachuck normally do it?
This is how they normally do it.
With 3?
Yeah, 3 times, no response, then a non-compliance letter is mailed. They're given 14 days to respond. If they don't respond, then they're given 14 days before a shut-off.
I would do, I'm thinking, kind of go in the middle here, Bernie. Let's do 2 letters, then the non-compliance.
2 letters.
Just in the chance that something got lost.
Well, but
I mean, our water bill for the water department got lost. We never received it, I had to get it from Kathy.
But
the water fire department. So.
right, but we're giving them a non-compliance letter as well. So that's 2 letters. And there's always forgiveness with each of those letters. I mean, nothing.
All you have to do is call and try to set something up, and it stops the letters.
Yeah. So it seems to me that we only need to send them one initial letter, and then there's the compliance letters.
Okay, so one initial letter that we need to get into your house, we need access. The second letter to say that you're in non-compliance, and then you would be shut off in 14 days further. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
2 letters, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah. I'd really like to have John's version of this too.
Okay.
We could put it off to the next meeting,
That's fine.
because I think something that's as important as a policy should be all 3 of us.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Okay?
But whatever this policy is, it's also subject to the age. I mean, we still have the age.
Oh, of
limit
course,
on the
65 and older, no, this doesn't apply to them.
But they still need to get,
But we
Even
still need
this
to
is-
read their meter.
yes, this is not billing them. This is repairing their meters so that they can get the proper billing.
So the
We still
third-
need to get, I don't think
Absolutely.
65 does not apply to this.
Well, if
Right, it says it's shut off. That's
you
the only
can't
thing.
shut them off though.
Can't
So
shut
this,
them
the third letter could not say we're gonna shut you off. We could
That's
put a
what
lien
it's-
on your house, but we're not gonna shut you off.
That's where the disconnect. It can't be disconnected. It can't be disconnected.
Only per rules.
Correct.
So I'd like to have John here to
Okay.
finish discussing this, because I think it's a 3-person, we should all have an input on this.
No, put on the next agenda.
Yeah, just put it back on the agenda.
So can we size the issue that we've got at the moment? How many people have we not been able to getting access to the...
There's 3 this quarter.
Okay.
So I definitely think it should be other than a postcard.
I agree.
That could be half of the problem. All right, Prospect Hill valve modification.
Yeah, you guys been able to review this plan at all?
Yes.
Well, so basically, there's way too much going on as far as infrastructure at the bottom of Prospect Hill. There's 10-inch mains, 12-inch mains, 6-inch mains. There's gate valves that are broken open, gate valves that are broken shut. We can't find most of them. The ones we can find takes a while to find, and they're basically all of them are redundant and they're not necessary. Most of them. So what we're trying to do is make things a little bit more simple.
It's something that's needed to be done.
Yes, because
25 years.
if a real emergency were to happen right now, it would take me several hours. If it was to happen right now, it would take me several hours to find the right valves to shut it all down that are broken already. Which it would we would drain the tank, which would not only not have any water for the town, but there's other issues that arise once you drain the tank. I did review their plan on how to fix everything, and I do agree with where they're trying to go with it. I did ask for the most optimal kind of setup, and the most optimal setup would be the 16-inch ductile iron main that comes down from the tank. Where it connects to the main on Havel Street, it would just be a 3-valve setup, which actually is the most optimal way. We would be abandoning several other old valves, old piping for the old tank, mismatched sizes, and basically just run the 16-inch all the way up to Havel Street, and then 16-inch going both ways, which they will have to be reduced down to a 10-inch, because that's what the existing main is up in the road.
But that would make sense as to our future plans for Havel Street.
Right. That
it needs to come out to that street anyways, because we're talking putting bigger mains eventually.
Right. Eventually, we're going to be doing this project.
No, let's slow down. So eventually we'll be putting in a bigger main on Havel Street?
That's part of our plans that we did, yes.
Ideally, yeah.
But is it going to be a 16-inch on? I mean, I guess...
Well, you don't want, if it's going to be bigger than 10-inch, you don't want 10-inch coming from the 16-inch and then going up to whatever you're going to put in, 12-inch.
I think you wanted 12 going up to it, but 12 going up to it, but then also 12 leaving it, which would be why you would want the 16 going all the way straight up. And well, it's already 16-inch pipe there.
Goes up there.
Yeah.
So it should go out to the street, at least pretty close to the street before
right, and we
reduce it.
And if we're doing this project, we have to remove a big portion of the water main to get all these broken valves out, and put all brand new valves in. So we might as well get rid of any of the 12 or 10-inch that's in the way and just upgrade it to the 16 while we're down there cutting everything out anyways.
Right, so my concern is the amount of pressure increase as you go from 16-inch off the hill to a 10-inch.
It's already doing that right now, just not in a very convenient way.
Well,
eventually, all this 10-inch and 12-inch, all this stuff, they all eventually do connect to the 16-inch water main.
Yeah, but the engineers are not concerned about the amount of pressure that's going to induce.
No, because it'd be more of a.
It's not going to change the. It's going to change the volume, not the pressure. The pressure is dictated by the height of the water tank.
You'd certainly get more flow out of this area if you were to move any of any of the smaller sized pipes that are kind of in the way of any gate valves.
Right.
But yeah, we wouldn't be increasing pressure by doing that.
Yeah, so the only thing that increases pressure is height.
Well, if you...
It's not moving fast enough to get it to increase like the Venturi type thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. All right, well, those guys are... You're confident that they've been thinking this through, and...
I do like where they're going with it. That's exactly what I was hoping to get out of a plan like this, is that it's simple and it's effective.
But on this diagram, I don't see any 12-inch.
Which one are you looking at?
This is
The first one?
proposed. This is the proposed.
Yeah, that's what's going to end up. If you look at the map before that, that's where you'll find the other pipe. Correct, because that's when we're done with the project, there won't be any 12-inch hanging around anywhere.
So but subsequently, we're going to put in bigger piping on Havel Street. Is that correct?
No, because that'll continue. That'll still remain a 10-inch pipe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Eventually, when we decided to do some, remember we decided to put a hold on all that.
Yes.
Because we didn't want to incur any more debt that we'd have to pay for now.
Right.
But eventually, the plans are to increase the main size on Havel Street to, I believe it was 12-inch ductile iron.
Yes.
Just going on memory on that, so.
Right. 12-inch.
All the way from one end to the Route 1, that whole east end section.
Right, and that's definitely not in the immediate future, but it would make sense that this is done first before you start trying to do
But
it.
there's no point in kind of prepping for that now by whatever we're digging up on Havel Street.
We are prepping for that now.
That's what that's doing. That's where it's going.
Where they're tying back into the original water main on Havel Street will be it'll be a reducing valve, but that's where it'll be sized correctly that you'll be able to. It won't be a 16-inch connecting to it, but we'll know exactly where that connection is. Right. So when we do run a new main, we already have the plans, the as-built, exactly where we would meet the pipes together.
Okay. All right.
And for right now, it's definitely it's worth it for the actually having new style gate valves in a convenient location that you can find and operate in case you need them. I'd never want to need them, but if I do, right now I don't even know if I could shut it off.
It's scary,
to be honest.
No, that's fine. And is there?
I think it's the only way to solve the problem.
Is there any conservation issues? Down in that area?
They have to. This is just kind of the preliminary plan. They still have to. Right now, we've only paid them to just write up a plan and get something that works.
Yeah.
They would. The next part of the project would start. I think it says it at the end.
Yeah, we got the construction, $110,000, engineering, design, and permitting, which would be conservation. That's $28,300. And bidding and CA services. What's CA services? That's $23,000 for a total of $161,000.
I know they could start kind of fairly, if we really want to go over this project, we can start fairly early with it. I think the main town meeting, if we're able to get it into that, they can start kind of right away and getting the bids together and getting that, going through the Conservation Commission. Because that was the issue, that we don't have this money at the moment. We have to get a.
So I would recommend that we put it under one of our capital expenditures for this year.
For this year, so an article for this.
An article for this year.
This year's.
Yeah, so we can be working on it this summer.
you know, you have a sense that the numbers that they've come up with are reasonable numbers?
I've never done a project like this before, but I was actually imagining a lot more. But I'm not super familiar with
If you could just,
projects of this size.
we'll put this back on the budget, on the next agenda. But if you could get a hold of Ryan and see how confident he is with these numbers, because I'd hate to go out to bid and have him come in. You know, it seems like it's happening a lot.
It's got I think 20% contingency in there.
Yeah, so just see how confident he is. Should we go with these numbers? Confident to go with these numbers?
Right below in the paragraph, he suggests that we actually include an additional $15,000 for a possible was a 10-inch insertion valve, just in case what they plan on doing doesn't work properly. That we would want to back up the money in the budget for backup of it's an insertion valve, which costs a ton of money. I would suggest that we include that in the article right off the bat, so we're not.
Why don't you get a hold of Ryan, find out what he's comfortable with to do the entire project for a town meeting, and come back with a number with everything included.
Yeah.
Because we want to do it right.
Right. I don't want to be. If we've had an insertion valve fail there before, which is why it's a good idea to. And once it fails, you just wasted $10,000 and you got to do another one. So I feel like it's even though it's listed below, not the first price, that it should be just added right off the bat, just in case we need it.
So,
I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
right. Yeah, that seems like that's a fairly large risk factor, because it essentially is saying, well, we can't do any of this if this is screwed up, right?
Right. Yeah.
So they need to evaluate that and anticipate that they have to replace it before they can do anything.
Right. That's the additional 15,000.
Yeah.
I remember when there was a water leak right there on Havel Street. No, it tore the road up so bad, so quick, that a car got in the hole. And it happened in front of a water employee at the time. He called on the radio. And before he called on the radio to shut the road down, there was a car in the hole. That's how fast it happened. I think he even used a few choice words over the radio, but...
You mean say you can't remember?
wasn't me. No, I was working for the fire department then, but I was up there. Actually, I think I was on the board last time when this happened.
All right, so we're in agreement.
Right. That I get call Taylor and Howard.
Yeah.
Confirm that they're confident with these numbers.
I just
have them include
so many things go out to bid and come in, above what we want. I just don't want to see that happening.
Right, and have them include this noted $15,000 that kind of should be included.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't be begging them to raise it. I would just ask them how they came up with that 110,000 and how did they reality test it. That's what they will have no hesitation in going up.
Right.
Because could be 250,000 before they.
I have been recently impressed with satisfied with a lot of the numbers they've given me for other projects.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I mean, I think that counts, and your judgment counts immensely. So,
So I'll contact them.
Contact him. We'll put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay.
John will be here. You can look it over.
so what? And we're pretty close to then starting to ask for articles, so we probably should start thinking about drafting an article as well at this point. Excellent, thank you.
All right, discuss Taylor Lane off Weathersfield Street. What's the discussion on that?
The Taylor Lane was like I guess like a 40 or 60 house development. They want to do the rates where we were just talking about near 385 Weathersfield Street. And we haven't really contacted this development group at all to state any of our concerns. And we do kind of have a few concerns that I don't know if there's enough infrastructure in that immediate area to supply another, additional 40, 60 homes, which I'm assuming they're just going to make it one big dead ends, which we also don't like.
So they haven't bought their all their plans haven't come down?
They've sent plans around. We haven't been able to look at it whatsoever, me or Bob Gray.
So Larry, at the last planning board meeting, Larry Graham reviewed their plans for the way it's been laid out, and he expressed concerns with the length of the dead ends that were being put in there, and both the number of houses, which I think was up to about 49 in there, plus the configuration of the water mains, and the fact that there were going to be two long dead ends in that development. And my concern is that we've already got a problem with dead ends. We've got a problem with the one on the corner that they're trying to run through behind the medical building, that development, and people are objecting to that. So I think new developments, we need to have a kind of a going in position that's fairly clear that we don't want dead ends on these developments. That it has to be configured so that there's a good flow.
Right. I obviously don't know if we could supply all those houses within sufficient water flow protection either. Just because they can put in a 20-inch water main doesn't mean they're getting. It doesn't mean they're going to get 20 inches of flow through there.
No, has he brought the plans down here for you to review?
They've sent the plans down here, right?
Do you want some? Do you want me to grab?
No, but they've sent plans down here. We've barely been able to even look at it. But I think we wanted to bring it up because it's almost like it's moving forward too quickly, and we haven't really had any time to kind of really look at it. And we would hate for them to, suddenly they get approved for it, and they're already asking to tie into our water system when we haven't even been able to really look at it.
That's why we need a superintendent.
Yeah.
Well, right, but I mean, at the moment we're relying on Larry Graham's input and knowledge of.
Do we want to have Taylor and Howard review them?
I think the developer should have to do something with it. But they should have to figure out whether or not they can even support, a development of at least 50 houses in that area.
So we don't have a policy, Rob, that's for that big of a development?
Not really. Normally the superintendent would be working on something like this. The guy, at this point, we just wanted to kind of bring it up to the whole board that we haven't really been checking it out. And
on this particular one, it seems to me so the first step would be to reinforce Larry Graham's initial concern. Say we thank him for bringing up the issue,
right.
And we want to reinforce the fact that it is an ongoing concern,
right.
And we do not want the project to go ahead if we're adding dead ends.
Right.
I would say that we need to have somebody review it for our own sake. Because once it's done, we own it.
Right.
So if we could get them to do a quick review of the latest proposal that they brought in and send the planning board, talk to Kurt, and see where they stand on it. I know that there's another plan that I've seen go across the desk this week.
So there's a meeting on Wednesday, planning board meeting on Wednesday, this development is on that agenda.
Okay. So I don't know if we're too late already.
Well, I don't think there's a vote. I mean, I think we can speak up at that meeting.
Yeah, we can certainly be like, you're not connected to our water system, you know, if it really comes down to it, if we don't like what's going on.
Right, but I certainly think that, I mean, they said they've sent us plans, you said they've sent us plans.
So.
But do we have a formal, are we part of the formal process for reviewing these developments? I mean, when they send us the plan, what are they asking us to do with it?
They say, can one of you guys check this out? You know, I know it's here, Bob or Rob, whoever, we don't know who's in charge down there, but if somebody wants to check it out, that'd be great.
But this is the developer that's asking.
No, the planning board usually.
Planning board.
The planning board usually will.
So I know we get at the fire station, but I'm looking at them at the fire
Yeah.
standpoint, so.
So, excuse me, I haven't heard about Taylor until you mentioned it, Mark. So I don't believe they have actually come up with a plan to us. I was thinking of Bitterroot.
Yeah.
Which
There's a few
is another big
Yeah.
development of Weathersfield, so, sorry.
All right, well, this is the Taylor Lane one, and it's
And it's off of Haverhill Street?
No, Weathersfield.
Weathersfield.
Okay, well then maybe we are talking the same one.
That's not the title of it. That's not the name of it.
I'm
Well,
not
that's the
sure.
name of the developer.
Oh, well, then I don't know.
Okay.
All right, so, I mean, I can go to the planning board meeting to give voice to that concern, if that's appropriate.
And I wouldn't be against putting him on to go with you.
Right.
Because we should have a word, we should have some say in these things. And
Right, well, we absolutely have a say in these things, we just don't.
we don't exercise it.
We don't have the staff, or exercise it, so. Yeah, it's our water system, if we're not comfortable with it, they don't get to connect to it.
So if you're willing to go, I would.
Right, so can we give Kirk a heads up, saying in all likelihood, two of us would be there, and that will be a...
Yeah, when is this, tomorrow night?
No, yes, tomorrow night. 7:30.
I can, I will call Kirk and figure out.
I can do that if you want, Rob.
No, I would like to speak
Okay.
with him. But also, I think it would be good for maybe me to try to contact Larry Graham and see exactly what he was, it sounded like he had a good suggestion.
Right.
I don't know what that, sounded like a good suggestion, but I wasn't, not too sure exactly how he wanted it.
Well, I think he was thinking it either can go out to 133 or down to Route 1 in order to kind of have a real loop. But, that's a big ticket item, so.
Right.
All set?
Yeah, so do
You
we need
guys
to do
can-
anything? Do we need to,
I'll make some phone calls tomorrow.
do we need to vote or?
I'll make a motion, Bernie, go to represent the water board at the planning board.
Second that?
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And report back.
Yes. Yeah, if you can just make sure that Larry is going to be there, because that will be the critical.
We'll skip over the current future operations to last. Budget.
All right, so we met last week and we started going through line by line the budget. We've got some areas where we need to adjust up, and we've got more areas where we can adjust down. So we are, I think we're moving in a reasonable direction. Sorry, you want to make comments on this?
I'm still working on bridging on a few of those line items. There were certain, you brought up like the training. There's a few line items that I think could certainly be, I haven't actually talked to Bridget yet, but can certainly be reduced by quite a bit, which is good.
So, I mean, part of the switch has been these are just the, so one area is where we underestimated the costs of maintenance of the distribution system. So we're running over that at the moment, and that budget for the following year has to be increased. But we're the monies that we've been put in for maintenance of the water treatment plant, those have been more generous than we need, and therefore we're going to move monies from the water treatment plant towards the maintenance. The other thing that Rob is recommending, and I agree with, is we just kind of collapse some of these accounts so that they're slightly bigger buckets. So item 3 on this Rob's sheet here, there's a whole bunch of just spending categories which are essentially for materials needed for maintenance. And
they're only for fittings to repair water mains and water services.
Right. So they were broken out into smaller amounts, and they just need to be aggregated back up again.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I know it's been difficult for the office, especially if we get like a saddle tap or something, where it's like, well, are you reconnecting a water service or are you repairing a water main? It's like, well, it's kind of both. It doesn't really matter. It's you're repairing the distribution system, and it doesn't need to be.
I agree with you on that.
So we just have to be ready when we go to the finance committee to kind of make sure that it's simple and that they realise they're not losing any information by us aggregating things together, because the numbers before weren't trustworthy. So, because they were somewhat arbitrarily assigned to those categories.
This is still a draft, by the way. There were a few more items that we discussed that I did. I included onto on a newer original list.
So we are. I guess we're just moving ahead.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Looks. The other thing is under the budget articles, I've been talking with Bob, and the compressor, which is a very useful tool here, is at least 30 years old, and I think it's time for me to replace it.
Fluids all over the place.
Yeah, I was here when I worked here, and I don't know how long prior to that, but
so
hit some age on it when I worked here. And
so my only concern with that, with all equipment like that, is the extent to which if we can acquire it jointly with another user, then we're getting more usage out of it, and we still have it available, right? So when I asked, you said the highway department uses a similar kind of compressor?
Similar, but theirs is smaller than the one we're used to.
It's one of those things that you need, when you need it, you need it. And if the highway department's using it and you need it, you can't shut, you need it in emergency to be able to shut off water. Because a lot of the gates are full of crap, which has to be blown out. So, I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you, but sometimes you need your equipment that's yours, and Jack had an air compressor happens to be one of those.
Right. Well, I mean, we don't even have prices or anything for it yet, but it is something that
they're working on it.
Yeah, Bob's been working on it.
So do we have a rule of thumb, a guesstimate as to how much?
I think they're around 20 grand for a towable compressor. Yeah, not cheap, but
I thought it'd be more than that. So
I think the base model is like 20 grand. But I don't have any pricing. We're just working on looking up models and prices right now.
I just know it's something that needs to be replaced. It needs to be a reliable piece of equipment, and it's so old now that I question whether you can get parts for it.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So that will be another article, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, we're still kind of in that early phases of the budget, but it's nice that we are. I feel like we're going to be on target for next year. It's going to be done early, and we're not going to be scrambling around.
Right.
And that so far is the only thing that anybody's come up to me with for capital expenditures.
What the compressor? No, I was working on. I was going to add the Prospect Hill valves.
I think that's a definite.
Prospect Hill storage tank cleaning because it's that's not the annual one. It's done every 5 years. That would be an article. That's like $5 grand or something. As far as equipment, off the top of my head, I don't really have anything at the moment, but
It should be good for trucks, so we won't be looking at purchase a truck.
more vehicles.
So we should probably then, I don't know about, when's our next meeting?
22nd.
Yeah,
Sorry?
22nd.
22nd.
So it probably makes sense to come up with, to go over the capital list for articles and like the compressor and draw up that list sooner rather than later.
Why don't we, yes, and we want capital expenditures submitted by the 22nd.
Right.
From the employees.
The next round, yeah.
And that goes to you too, Kathy. Do you need to replace anything in the office?
Okay, so for instance, the printer, we haven't done that yet. That was on last year's budget. Do we carry that over or no?
The copy machine printer? Do we purchase that or do we lease it?
I believe it's paid in full.
We should look into leasing that.
Right, we discussed it, I just haven't been able to.
I believe the rest of the departments in town lease them. That way you're always up to date. They come in and they give you a new one every couple of years.
So it doesn't have to be on this list because we already.
Is it in the budget for this year or?
I have to ask Bridget, but I believe we approved it in the fall.
Look into that and call Cameron. And I believe they're the ones that do the rest of the town. And they probably give us something in trade for that one that we have. And
right.
What about the one at the treatment plant? Is that purchased or is that leased?
Oh, I don't know. It works. Prints a lot.
We want one like the treatment plants. This is too big. We don't need all this. We need one like yours.
They're the same thing, aren't they?
Oh, I think yours is a little
That's the
small.
same thing everybody else in town's got.
Yeah.
That is?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's not color, it's a black and white.
I thought we had said at the last meeting the treatment plant would be more like yours. Yours is that big?
They look similar.
Okay.
I don't know really.
Okay.
Look at the one at town hall, you'll find it's probably the same thing. One at the fire station's the same, I was in the police station. So.
Okay.
But call the salesman and see what he has to say.
Good list of articles for next meeting? Okay.
At least a preliminary list.
Yeah, I can do that.
And we should talk more, we'll meet again.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the next one is, number 3 is kind of like a surprise, so what's happening?
Discuss DEP inspection and treatment.
That was just, a little surprise, just, it was just a checkup from DEP, nothing official. I just wanted to just see how we're, hanging in there. Just go over a few, some of the paperwork I sent to them. They were...
So is this scheduled?
Nope, not scheduled. It was just
They just showed up and started inspecting?
yes, if they can.
So this happened?
Yes, this is already happened.
Right, okay, so...
And Rob passed, they were so pleased with what he had to offer them, so.
Yeah, but it is just an unofficial inspection. This isn't a sanitary survey. I didn't really want it to be on a meeting because it's not. We can discuss it, but we just talked about some numbers and paperwork. He did seem pleased with what he saw.
No, who came down?
Bill something.
No.
We got a long last name.
He's our representative for the area, or
One of.
one of them?
Yeah.
Does he write has he written something up?
No, because it was just a
Unofficial.
unofficial. Just
Pop in. How you doing?
He was pleased, but I think that everyone kind of wanted to congratulate us on the job well done, but we haven't done anything special, anyways. He was pleased that we were doing our jobs like we're supposed to, which is nice. But we do have the sanitary survey is this year, so that's
Back to that again?
3 years. So it'll be the sanitary survey will be the actual inspection.
That's the coming-
So everything has to be updated?
This year, 2019.
Right, but 2019 before June or after?
It has nothing to do with the physical year.
It's just calendar year.
They will call me. They'll be calling me soon and send an email saying we're sanitary survey time. Get ready. They're coming in.
So, right, but when would you like it to happen?
It's when they want it. Which
It's
when
when
they
they
have
want it.
time. Yeah.
Right, but...
They'll give me a couple of months heads up. You do have like, hey, we're kind of busy this month, but
Okay.
they're also not going to be like, oh, well, 6 months from now. No, like it's either next week or
You gotta start going through the procedure manuals, make sure that everything is...
Well, so I already have it because it's every 3 years. I already know they're coming, which is why he was pleasantly surprised with a lot of things he found because I've already been looking into this stuff and getting things ready.
Well done. Yeah, we're done. We should feel confident. We'll back up. I mean, I feel as though we back up whatever is going to make the most sense for us. So in terms of schedule-wise. So don't be bashful about asking for more time.
Yeah, I've already been getting ready for it because it's every 3 years. Really
Exactly.
not a surprise.
And think through what if any role, given that we don't have a superintendent, what if any support you need?
Yeah, like me, if you need me to do something.
Well, also to kind of manage the interface with them. Again, I don't know, all I know is whatever was happening before was not optimal.
Right.
So-
I was kind of planning on just handling most of it, not by myself, but kind of taking the...
Between you and Bob, you should be able to...
Right. I quite often work with the DEP.
Right.
We quite often have little surprise inspections.
That goes back to when I worked there, they used to pop
Right.
in. The woman,
And they actually-
the area rep was lived in Gloucester.
Right.
She'd pop in just unannounced, whenever.
Yeah, and they seem to prefer to actually talk to like the primary operators of
Mhm.
the distribution and the treatment, separately or whatever, to get their take on like what actually happens and all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm all in support of that. It's just whatever you need, whatever support you think you need, let us know. I think that's more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly don't feel the need to interfere with any of that. Just as long as there's no road widening, don't need any of that.
I'm not gonna add anything to the certain sanitary survey that doesn't need to be there. I'm not gonna add anything at all. Allow them to do it.
Statement about dead ends would help.
Yeah, no, we'll be fine. Yeah, they were in the other day, they were just wanted to chat about paperwork.
That's good.
Yeah, very
Well
conversation.
done.
All right. Current future operations, you got anything?
No, I think we hit most of the big issues at the moment.
Well, 3's almost done.
Cool.
Yep.
So we signed the last change order
Yep, there was one more part that we need to get.
beyond what we signed off on.
Yep. But so that should be actually, maybe by the end of this week, well 3 would just be up and running again.
They get the pump back in again?
No. No, they were waiting for again, they found like a wear ring. In the holidays, we were just like, listen, we're not pumping much water at the moment anyways. Let's not come in New Year's Eve to get this done. Wait for the part. So,
All right. So no news on Georgetown,
no.
nothing, no contact, no,
I haven't spoken with them.
And we had a meeting since we talked to the DEP.
No.
DEP called us.
I know they called Deb, did they?
Yes, and I got an immediate call from that. But I think that was, the explanation was sent with the option of calling me if you had any questions, and I never got a call. I don't know if you got a call or not. So I think he was satisfied with our response.
So it's on Georgetown. Georgetown needs to do something.
No, you know, we, not even sure that it's something that's feasible. But I have not been, we as a board have not been presented with anything, either verbally or in writing. I know I requested when I got voted the representative through Rob that until they had something tentatively in writing, drawings of what we're talking about, that there was no sense of even talking.
Right, but at the same time, we want to kind of make sure they understand that we're perfectly willing to work with them on it, but they've got to make the moves. They've got to.
And yeah, the DEP seemed a little bit put out.
So we haven't had any conversations with Bruce. And what about the heart? You met with a candidate today. Is that?
Yeah, we
can't discuss that.
Right. I think there's also potential other applicants at the same time, but yeah, we can discuss it. There are some applicants.
But not for the superintendent.
Not that I'm aware of.
Minutes? You had a chance to read them? I know I haven't.
I'll put this down.
How's he on call working with Ryan?
Working on great.
No, Bob seems to be happy.
Yeah.
Ryan seems to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
You happy?
Yeah. Yeah, so I said that Bob will,
Did
if he needs to, he will go on call. For right now, Ryan's working great.
what have we done in the computer situation?
What have we done with
He got his new computer.
it? You go to the computer.
Jared's just going to be fixing it,
Last time we
Pretty much
used a lending one.
Spare.
no, he has his new one, it says to be programmed.
Okay.
That should be done this week.
So we had one open issue that we should have handled on, and that is the secondary operate. Ryan for filling the secondary operator position. That's what we want.
Yes, yeah, that was, we were discussing that. But yeah, I mean, the department should, I highly recommend the department to hire Ryan as a secondary operator for distribution, so we can use his licenses to fulfill our staffing plan, because he has the license, and we don't have the, well, we use,
Well, the problem
we use
is
small water systems.
The problem is the job descriptions that you're talking about have not been approved.
That's what
That's the holdup.
That's what I kind of thought was there was a holdup with it, but
Yeah, I mean,
I did have a discussion about it
that when the personnel board approves those, and the union approves those,
Right.
then they can be available. Right now, the only job is what they call the assistant foreman. And so, right now, he's in the position that he can be.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so we push the personnel board to agree to the revised.
And it has to go to the union, I've been told.
Right.
Yeah. Just when that gets done, it'd be good
But I
suggestion.
guess that's what we want, so it's really, this is a communication mechanism for Ryan saying, we want it to happen, we just.
Right, and then it goes back to the budget where there's a big chunk of money we can knock off the budget if we don't have to pay outside
Small water
contractors to come in here and do a job that somebody,
Now, small water systems still coming in?
yeah, here and there.
But with the sanitary survey, I assume that they'll be checking all.
Yes, that will be, the staffing plan will be, they'll be checking it.
So just last.
Fourth we can't do anyways, because I wasn't there and
Fourth what?
the December 4th. I wasn't there, so there's only one person that was there.
So we need
That has to go.
Oh, I see, you can't.
So I move that we accept the minutes for November 27th as written.
Second it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. December the 4th we're putting off. And then so we haven't had any reason to call any excavators besides, we haven't had a need for an excavation yet.
Nope. Yeah.
Sorry, a week.
This weekend though will be pretty cold.
So we've had no communications from the Cataldi or whatever.
Cardillo, no.
Cardillo.
No, nothing, nothing
So I
regarding
moved it.
anything about the contract, it was just about invoices.
So I move that we accept the minutes for December the 11th as written.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. I move that we adjourn.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.